So the person, I hope I can recall how it was written. So I think it was on Twitter, something like 90% of 90% of people just throw out statistics figure without any underlying data and analysis to support. And this person wrote it on Twitter. What do you think is wrong with this statement? Anybody?
Because it's very likely that it doesn't have data.
Yes, that is exactly wrong with the statement. You understand? So the person writing this is guilty, exactly guilty of the same thing he or she is saying. There are a lot of them. I always say, someone says, don't believe advice given on Twitter. Don't believe advice given on Twitter. What do you think is wrong with this? Anybody?
There's no data to back it up.
No, I mean, look at it. Don't believe advice. You know, this advice was actually given on Twitter.
His own advice to his.
So it is that we cannot believe his own advice. So, so it's like, what do they call it in English? Is it oxymoron or something? Like, I can't, is it oxymoron or what? Any linguist, any English person, any language person here? When you combine two contrasting things together in a sentence, I'm not really sure. I think it's oxymoron. Is it? I'm not sure. Okay. So that's just that on a very light note. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, we are just going to follow the word of one person. He says, what's the quote? Let me just try and record the quote. The quote goes something like okay, yeah. In God we trust. All others must bring data. Do you get this? In God we trust. All others must bring data. Do you understand what this means? Hello, guys.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. So the person writing this, I mean, anybody that believes in God, we agree with this. You understand? So people that are atheists may have issue with it, but what is clear is that in God we trust, which means that if you believe in God, it means you also believe in maybe some of the books. I mean, depending on your religion, you believe in things that are there without necessarily having data to support. You understand? I mean, so you trust God for that. So, but all of that, whatever they say, they must bring data to support. You get that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's continue. It's part of our work anyway, so this is not off topic. This is not off topic. So guys, how was our last class? Do you have any question? I'm sorry, guys. I sent the recording of the last class late. So I'm sorry. I'm on a travel. So it's I'm on a travel. So it was quite I couldn't send it throughout the early part of the day or yesterday night. So I should have done it yesterday night. So it was when I arrived at my destination that I later tried to send it. So guys, apologies. I hope my apologies accepted.
Yeah, accepted.
Oh, Ajoke, hey, we're happy to hear your voice today.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Yes, you have to do giveaway for everybody, Ajoke, because we can hear your voice today.
Okay.
So is that a promise, Ajoke?
Yeah,
Is a
okay.
promise? Is that a promise? You are going to do
I'm not
giveaway.
promising anything here.
Show us the way now. Okay. So it's
Yeah,
nice.
you are back now.
No. So, okay, we're happy to hear from you, Ajoke. So feel free to talk, unmute yourself, be part of the class. Okay, so in our
All
last
right, thank you
class,
very much.
we talked
I
about
wasn't around.
yeah, don't worry. I'll just briefly go through a part of the class and we'll go through some other stuffs, some other interesting stuffs. So now, let me first of all go to sheet 2. Can you guys remember everything we did here? Guys that were in class, what we had was this. We had let me just this was what we had in our last class. We have these two, last name and first name. Was it? What is this? What we have? Okay, yeah. This was what we have. We have these two, last name and first name and last name. We observed that there were some things wrong with these two columns, which are for this first column, we have hash that is not supposed to be there. We have all the names starting with a small letter, and we have a space at the beginning of each of the names, which is not supposed to be so. And for our last name, we have some are in small letters, some are in capital letters, so there is no consistency. So if we are to solve this problem in our day-to-day task, what do you do? How do you find the full name, first name and last name of people, and you make it clean? So how do we solve the problem? Do we type it out one by one? Do we use a function? So in our last class, I explained, excuse me, please. In our last class, I explained how to solve this problem of where we can use some functions to do it. To extract the first name, we clean it and make it, everything looks good. You understand? So we have our first name, last name, and we generated this stepwisely. Now we have a clean first name, the same first name. You can see now that in column C, what has happened? The space in front of it has been removed. And in column D, the hash at the end of each word has been removed. And in column E, what do you have? We now have the name starting with a capital letter. And our last name too, we have everything started with a capital letter and all others are in small letter. And we have our full name combined here. So I gave us an assignment task to generate the email address. Do we have anybody that tried it out? Do we have anybody that tried it out? Anybody? Guys, ladies and gentlemen, do we have anybody that tried the assignment out? It's okay if you don't try it out. Just let me know.
I tried it out, but I used the shortcut.
Yeah, who is that? Who said he uses shortcuts?
Utman.
Okay, Utman. My God,
because my network was that's not right. My network was a bit fluctuating that time. So
okay.
I didn't get how we got the full name. So,
okay, it's okay. So I'm going to show us alternative method of solving this task today. So ladies and gentlemen, we should get started. Is that not so? So if you missed, there's a purpose to what we did in our last class. So when I show you different ways of working, each of them has their own strength. You understand? And you need to understand that different methods exist for a purpose. They don't exist for the purpose of a perfect substitute. Do you understand what I mean? Because in real life, there is no perfect substitute. We can just manage a substitute. I don't know if you understand. Like Usman now, if someone gives him a Ferrari, he's going to accept it. Is that not so? Usman?
Yes.
If you are given a Ferrari, you are going to accept it. It may not be your best choice of a car now. Maybe Tesla is your dream car, but you will accept it. it is a substitute for you. So you understand what I mean when I say there is no perfect structure? Like, okay, I prefer this and I can manage this. But what I'm trying to say is that in Excel, there are several approaches to solving some problem. The formula and function approach always win. The reason it always win is because it means that everything has been programmed and you can always get to make it work. But there are also some other tools in Excel we can use to, so that when you use them, they are not formula, which means that if you have a new data that comes in, you need to redo you need to redo. You understand what I mean by redo? You need to do the process again. This is what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. Let us assume we have Uthman. Give us your full name. Uthman what?
Olayemi.
Olayemi. So we have Uthman's excuse me. So Olayemi. Can we see the Uthman name is having the same problem as all the other tasks? And we can see that automatically every other thing here got filled. Can you see? Guys, I only had to type these two out and all the other ones were completed themselves because was what? Wow. Because the formula is already working in the background. Do you guys get that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is why formulas are good. Or let's assume someone else says that, okay, we have Aremu Obasanjo here and we don't want to use Aremu. We want to use Olusegun instead. Olusegun. Can you see now? You can see I only need to change the name and I just press enter. You can see every other thing changes. Guys, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm trying to say? So that is the essence of functions, but functions is not the only method of solving problem in Excel. So what I'm going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, whether you are in my last class or not, you just, we want to start something a little bit interesting. So we assume this is what we have now. Can you see? This was how the sheet was before. No be so? Yes, it is. Guys, is that not so?
Yes, that's
now. We want to use a very interesting method to work in Excel. Yeah, it is a very interesting method, and the method is called flash fill method. I think it was Uthman or Akande, I'm not really sure. He suggested it in last class. Was it Uthman? Someone told me.
Is it the Control E?
Yes, Control E.
Yes.
So Control E. So it was Uthman. So thank you for that. So it was part of what we had to teach. So now, how do we use the flash fill method? In flash fill method, guys, are you with me? Hello, somebody. Are we tired?
We are listening.
I'm sorry. I always need feedback. Feedback is important. You understand? So
Yes.
it's important. Doctor, I've not heard from you. I can cite everybody not talking. Dr. Katabazi, I've not heard from you. Joshua, I've not heard from you. Say hi, somebody, if you are here with me.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Hi.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, you can ask.
When I divide my computer to have my own Excel sheet and yours is really small. I can barely see anything. I don't know if there's something you can do about that.
You
When
divide
I
my screen, you divide your computer screen between my screen and the Excel's, your Excel you are working with. Yes, I think it's going to naturally be small. What is the inches of your computer? I mean, is it 15 inches?
Yes, it's 15.
It's going to be small. Actually, it's a big issue. For virtual learning like this, the best method is to have two screens. To be sincere, like you have one screen for the Zoom class and another screen for your what's it called now? For your Excel. So you have you have two screens to work with. That is the best recommended method for learning. What you can do is you can switch. I think you should just be switching. Just alt tab, then you switch between the apps. That's what I can say.
Let me try that.
Yeah, you just make sure both of them are maximized. Then you just alt tab. You want to check what I'm doing, alt tab. You want to go to the next to the other window, alt tab, and you go to the other window. I think that is just a way to manage it, unless you have two devices. If you have two devices with big screen, you can join twice. So you just use one to view and the other to practice. Is that good?
Yeah, I think I'll get
Yeah.
one tomorrow.
Okay, so we want to generate our full name. To generate our full name, what do? We need to just give it flash fill methods. You just need to give it an example. You have something that is, you want to do it as if you just want to type it out. So in this case, I'm just going to type Tafawa. You can see now I've corrected the problem. All the problem I think is wrong with it. And I type it first and I go to the next one. Can you see what happens, guys? Guys, look at my screen. I started typing Nnamdi Azikiwe. In Nnamdi Azikiwe. And can you see what happened, guys? If you are not looking at my screen before, I only started typing in Nnamdi. So in some cases, I think, guys, try it out on your computer. Type Tafawa Balewa, then try and type in Nnamdi Azikiwe. You don't even need to finish typing it before Excel suggests to you. I'm waiting, don't worry, guys. I'm going to hold on for us.
You're correct.
So does it work for you?
Yes.
Yes, so you only, but the thing is, so once it suggests for you, you can just hit tab, or you can see now Nnamdi. Okay, let me just go back. Nnamdi. You can see now, because I did not do anything for my previous one, so I finished typing it. After I've finished typing, it's good you give it enough examples. Sometimes you might need to give it more than one example as a full. Like you give it the first example, you give it the second example, you give it the third example, maximum. Then you now apply your flash fill. So after I've given it these two examples, can you see, guys? If you don't want to accept the suggestion of Excel, you just do Control E on your next cell. You press Control E together. Control E, Control E, Control E, Control plus E. And another method is, guys, look up. Another method you can use to do flash fill without Control E is this. Are we good to go?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go to my data tab, and under my data tab, can you see this guy that looks like a thunder strike? Oh, okay. I'm trying to point to it. Hold on, guys. Where are you? Okay, so I'm trying to point to it for you guys under my data tab, and you are going to see this guy. So that guy, we just click on it and it does a flash fill for you. So we call it flash fill. So the implication of your flash fill now is, I'm going to show you. So we can also do the same for our email. We want to generate first name initial plus last name. What do? We just say first name initial is going to be T plus last name, which is Balewa, right? At w3a.com. And I go to my next cell, I have AN azikwe@w3a.com. So what do I do next, guys? Control E. You understand? I give you 2 examples. Then after that, what do I do? Control E. Or I do what? Or I do like this. I use a flash fill. Guys, do you get that? Response, feedback. Yeah. I want you guys to ask a question because me, I already say a question you should ask, but I'm waiting for you.
I can see some of the letters are not corresponding with like it's going back to the problems we had before.
Yes, it's going back to the problems you have before. So that is the exact issue with things like flash fill, because they are not formula. You're only trying to use it's like some form of artificial intelligence embedded in Excel. So there are ways around it. You can, because the thing is, they all have different problems. So Excel was confused. They don't have the same problem. You can see now that this guy's problem is even from this guy's problem for your last name. And it was not making use of this to solve the problem. It wasn't making use of this column. Let's assume I remove this guy. I delete, and I try to do something like this. After doing this, what do I do? Control E. Can you see what happens? Guys, what is the difference? Hello, guys.
Sorry, please, can you repeat the action again?
Okay. Control Z, Control Z. Can you see what we did here? The first action is this. I specified 2 examples. After doing that, I did Control E.
Yes.
Okay, let me unmute. So after doing that, we now observe that some columns, like these columns, they still have some problems. These columns. Can you see those problems?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not asking why do we have the problem. I now said, okay, I want you guys to know why yourself. What I now did was I did like this, because what flash fill does, it looks at everything to your left and use it to generate the new guy, the new data. So which means that it is looking at first name and last name and also full name to generate this. But this guy here, it confuses the flash fill. And that was why we have this item here. Now, what I'm saying now is, if I decide to just go back a step backward, I delete these guys, and I also delete my first name and last name column. Do you get that? I now apply my flash fill. Can you see now that we don't have the problem again?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say now is that flash fill is just an handy tool that works depending on what you have. So it really depends on what you have. So it may get confused at times, and you may need to apply. You may get confused at times. So that is just what I'm trying. That's why I was explaining to us that it's not really about close substitute, but there are a lot of times that flash fill is just what you should do. You don't need to disturb yourself. You want to do a one-off analysis or one-off data cleaning, use flash fill, please. You understand what I mean by one-off? Something you're not going to come back to again in the future. So flash fill works very well there. That's flash fill for you. It works very well. Control E, or you come to your data tab and you click on this guy that looks like a thunderstorm. Don't mind me. That looks like a flash. So that is number 1. Number 2 is, let us go back to our sheet.
I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, so when we were trying to get the last name, those letters that were interfering, the ones that are in capital, all capitals, that's the last name in all capital, they didn't interfere with the flash fill. Why was that difference? They didn't interfere when we're trying to get the full name, but then they start interfering when we're trying to get the email. Is there something that
Yes, the issue was, the thing was this. What the problem was this. For full name, it was just using first name and last name. But the moment you are using email, let's assume we don't have this full name too, and we delete this full name column. You understand? You are going to see that it is not going to, we are going to, let us check what is going to happen. Control E. Okay, it interferes again. You can see that is AI for us. The AI is not 100%. It was just looking at what it was trying to do, like, okay, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? And it got confused basically. So that's just the only explanation. It got confused because it was just trying to combine first name and last name. It only removed the the white space. It removed the hash for you. And plus again, it is email. You understand? So you cannot say it is completely wrong because in email, whether you have you understand, whether you have all capitals. Yeah. So I think that was what the essence of this task is just to tell you that there may be limitations at times to flash fill. So you just need to be very careful when you use it. You just need to be sure of what you are doing. And sometimes you need to give it more than one example. Guys, please don't forget. You know, this life is a per pattern. The more, it's just like when we were in primary school, there's this thing we do, quantitative reasoning. They give you one example, it has a pattern. They give you another example, it has a different pattern. So the more examples you get, the better you are at what? At solving your class exercises. Is that not so?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the exact way flash fill was. So just give it like 2 or 3 examples and everything is going to work. So what I'm trying to say now is if we have something like this, Azikiwe, you understand, and Aaron C, and I come here, I have N Azikiwe. I think my spelling is wrong. Azikiwe, and I come here, I have N Azikiwe at w3.com. These people are students in our class. So can you see what happens when I apply flash fill? Control E, because it already has example on how to solve the problem when you have what? Capital letter.
Yeah, it just follows the example. I guess it now.
Yeah, so that's just the basic explanation.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go back to sheet 3. In our sheet 3, I introduced us to how to solve the problem of I explained to us that we have several types of sum in Excel. We have the basic sum, we have sum products, right? And we have SUMIFS, which we use for what? For sum based on a criteria. Now we have that. I'm going to actually quickly go through it. So, which means that because I've taught it before, so I may not be as slow as I did in our last class, but I just see that we have good numbers of people here, so I want us to benefit from it. Is that okay, guys? So ladies and gentlemen, especially if you are not in our last class, please try and look up. Are we here now? So we are going to have SUMIFS. We have SUMIFS. And I explained to us that if we are just starting with Excel, instead of us to type our formula directly, you can make use of your function argument bus. How do I see my function argument bus? I'm going to just click on FX here after typing my formula. And once I click on FX, can you see now that it brings out a box for me, which is the function argument box for what? SUMIFS. Now it is asking me what is my sum range. What I did not explain again to us is that this data, what we want to do here, we want to find total sales and number of transactions. We want to use this data. That is for those people not in our last class. You understand? People in last class already know we are using this data. So this data has a column called region, and we're interested in finding the total sales in Southwest, total sales in Southeast, total sales in South-South, total sales in, you understand, Southeast. And we want to have our answer inside this place. Are we guys together now? So I have equals to SUMIFS, and I press FX. I press FX. My sum range is going to be what? If I want to put something inside my sum range, what I'm going to do is what? I'm going to come into my sales data. Once I'm in my sales data, my sum range is the column that I want to sum, the column that has those values I want to sum, which is which column? Column K. So now I'm going to take my mouse to the top of that column. Guys, can you see my mouse? My mouse has changed to a down arrow key, a down arrow symbol. So just wait for your mouse to change to this sign and you click on it, like a left click, you click on it, you select. Now it has selected everything in that column. Are we guys together? Then we come to criteria range 1. Criteria range 1, you still need to go back to your data, your table. And you need to identify those columns. You need to identify that column that has region, that has all this Southwest, Southeast, South, and Northeast, which is going to be what? I'm going to go back to sales data, and I'm going to identify the column that has Southwest, Southeast, South, those columns. Which is this column? Column R. Do you guys get that? What do I do? Anybody? Sheyi? What do I do? Okay. Oluwaseun Akade, what do I do? Oluwaseun Akade, what do I do for my criteria range?
Like column R.
Yes, column R. What do I do to make it appear inside this box, inside this criteria range 1?
You use the arrow key and go towards R.
Yes, I don't know how to use the arrow key. Tell me how to do it.
The arrow key on your keyboard.
I don't know how to do it, Madam Sheyi.
Click on any of the cells and then navigate using the right key towards R and then go to R.
You know, this is criteria range 1. I want to select everything in this column. How do I do the selection? Tell me what to do. Give me instruction. I should click on R. This R?
Yes.
So I've clicked on it. What do I do next?
Shift down.
Okay,
Hold
shift
down
down.
arrow.
Shift down, it doesn't work. I'm pressing it. Basically, your approach works too. Sheyi, I understand what you are trying to say. Sheyi is trying to tell us to do something like this. I'm clicking on region. Can you see what I'm doing? I click on that region, not column R, not R now. After doing that, I do Control Shift down. You understand? That approach too works. So that is another method, Sheyi. It's a
okay.
It is not shift down, but Control Shift down.
Control Shift. Okay.
Yeah. So
right.
Sheyi is an Excel guru. So let me just repeat it again. You understand? This column, Instead of doing like this and just selecting ones, you can see it works. It selects everything in that column. So we don't need to disturb ourselves. Or we use Sheyi's method. We click on the cell. After doing that, we just do Control-Shift down. It selects everything. Then our criteria 1 is going to be what? It's not going to, criteria 1 does not concern you with, it's not dependent on your actual data or your actual table. It is the result that you want. The result I want at this time is what? Southwest. I want to know the total sales of Southwest. So I'm going to click on Southwest. And I click on OK. Oh, you can see it doesn't work. What's the issue? Let's just review our formula. Show you why is it not working. We have value. Let us just repeat it. Equals to SUMIFS FX. Sum range is going to be sales data. And we are going to select column K, criteria range 1. We're also going to come back here and we select column R. We'll come back to criteria 1 and it's going to be Southwest. It works now. I don't know why. Then we click on OK and we fill down. We copy our formula down and we use the same approach to do what? CANTIFs. To do the number of transactions using what? CANTIFs. We are just going to say equals to CANTIFs. We click on FX here to have our function argument bus. The difference between CANTIFs and SUMIFS is that in CANTIFs you don't have sum. You want to do a count of the number of times Southwest occur, number of times Southeast occur, number of times South occur in our sales data here. So what do? Your criteria range is just going to be column R, and your criteria 1 is going to be what? Southwest. That is what I want to count. And after doing that, what do? You fill down. So now the exact task, the exact learning objective for doing this again in today's class now is our criteria now has been modified. Your manager says he or she wants to know. The question is this: find total sales made after a particular date, which is what? 12/08/2014. So that is what your manager wants to see. He is interested in knowing the total amount of sales made after this particular date you have over here. You know, when you come to your sales data again, you will see now that there are some we have a date column. We have our other dates. This is even 2016. You understand? We have 2016. Let us check our data. We have 2016, 2014, 2017. Now, he's not interested in all of them. He only wants to see the what? The sales made after a particular date. So how do you use SUMIFS to evaluate that? Are we guys good to go? That is what I want to show us. So we have sales after a date. I create a new column for it, and I'm going to do equals to SUMIFS. Guys, are you doing it together with me? Guys, are you doing it together with me? It's very important. So what is our sum range going to be? I'm shifting it to the class. Joshua, you said yes, sir. So tell me what sum range is going to be. Joshua, I'm waiting for you. Joshua, just tell us something. Should I put a price on my question? so that Joshua is going to talk. Joshua, are you here? Okay, Dimeji Samuel, can you help me? If you are here, let me know. Dimeji Samuel.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Can you tell me what sandwich is going to be?
I think you go back to the sales sheet.
Okay, I'm there. What do I do next?
Then I think you click on the date part.
The what?
Well, the dates are.
No. We want to sum the column. Just tell me exactly what we have been doing before. So it's going to be what? The sales column now. Sales column, not dates.
Not date.
That is what we want to sum. Okay, I think we have some background noise. Okay. Now your sandwich is going to be what you want to sum anytime, any day. Your criteria range 2 is going to be what? In this case, we want to know sales is still going to be what? Your criteria range is still going to be, we go back to the data again, we are still going to select column R. You understand? Then criteria 1 is still going to be Southwest. With SUMIFS now, we can do multiple criteria. Multiple criteria, you understand? Which is that our next criteria is going to be what? Criteria range is going to be date. Are we guys together?
Yes, sir. Okay, I understand.
Yes, sir.
Our next criteria is going to be what? Date. You can have many criteria. You can see now we can have a lot of criteria. Let me show you. You can see now that we can have a lot of criteria with SUMIFS. Can you see criteria 127? So that is SUMIFS for you. So in our case now, our criteria range 2 is going to be what? The whole of dates in our data. It is going to contain everything, which is going to be, we are going to identify our other dates column and we are going to select everything. And our criteria 2 is going to be what? The actual dates we are considering, the actual criteria, which is this date that I have here, D1. I'm going to select it. But if I select this date now, it is only going to show me the sum of dates, the sum of sales for this date. Are we guys together? If I click on OK, the value I'm saying now is this total sum of sales made on 12/08/2014. Is that what I want?
No.
What do I want? I want to know total sum of sales made after 12/08/2014, which means I need to modify this formula. Do we have anybody that will tell us what to do to modify the formula? Anybody? So to modify the formula now, guys, we are going to come back to our criteria 2, and we are going to have a double quote, and we put our greater than inside the double quote. Are we guys together? And after doing that, we need to put an ampersand or a and, which is shift 7. So this is going to do total sum of sales after. If I want to do total sum of sales before this particular day, what do I need to do? Inside my double quote, I need to change that greater than to what? Anybody? To less than. You understand? So I'm going to click on OK now. You can see now that the total sum of sales after a particular date is less than the actual total sum of sales, excuse me, without a date criteria. Are we guys following?
Yes, sir.
Now, I need to apply this formula to all my other words.
Could you repeat that shortly, just the last 2 steps, please?
Yeah. So I will come back here. What we did previously was what? We have D1 in our criteria 2. Is that not so? Which gives us the total sum of sales for a particular date. But that is not what we want. What we want is total sum of sales after a particular date. So to find total sum of sales after a particular date, what we need to do is we just modify this criteria too. We are going to have a double quote. Inside that double quote, we are going to put greater than symbol there, which is shift. The greater than symbol on your keyboard. So you just find greater than, and after doing that, you put an and, D1. Then you have D1 there. You just select your cell that has the date. I can send it to us in chat if you want. So what you have in chat is what you are going to put in your criteria too. So if it is less than a particular date, you just change this greater than to less. And if it is greater than or equals to, which means that total sum of sales from a particular date. You can see now that the English matters a lot. So now we click on OK. Now we have done for Southwest. We need to apply the formula to what? All the other rows. What do we do? Anybody?
You drag it down.
We drag it down. Oh, the question is it correct? Does it work? That is the big question. Who is going to answer me? Is it correct? Does it work? Why is this 0? Why is this even the same thing as what we have in our south? It's not supposed to be so. Why is this northeast the same thing? So is it correct? I have to question, is it correct? And why is it not correct if it is not correct? Anybody?
It's not correct.
Yeah, why is it not correct, Sheyi?
D1 changes as you
as I drag down, which means that, thank you, Sheyi, that is just excellent. Excellent. So which means that if I don't want D1 to change, what do I need to do?
the dollar sign.
So we need to add a referencing to it, which is the dollar sign. We lock the location of D1. What do we use? What is the shortcut for locking?
Shift F5.
Are you sure?
Yes. Or F5.
Are you sure it is shift F5? Function F4. Function F4. So that is we use it to do referencing. We call it referencing. So, but I used to call it lock anyway. We want to lock a location. Okay. So now we want to lock it. We just press function F4. We have locked it. We click on OK, and we apply the formula. You can see now that it works now. Is that not so, guys, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So you can see now we need to know what we do. It's not just by working, it is by interpreting what we do. So in this case now, I can even change this date to any date I want. And everything in this small report is going to change, which is I can decide to change it to 01/01/2016. And I press enter. Guys, look up and you can see, you are going to see that it is going to change. Can you see now what I have? And I press enter, it changes. I change this guy to 01/01/2017. The sales after a date changes. This column changes. This guy changes. You understand? So I can change this guy to 01. You can see it is dynamic. Are we guys together?
Yeah.
So question. Question before I continue. Okay, if you don't have question, I'm going to go to my next class objective for today. So now we have this. So again, I've added, in our last class, now we have a new assignment, a fresh assignment. The assignment now is implement the total amount of sales and number of transactions. Number of transactions and total amount of sales after a particular date. This is the date you are going to use. You have the date already on your worksheet. So just do 2 criteria now. Your criteria, one of the criteria is going to be this. It's going to be state. Remember now that what is going to change? Your criteria range is not going to be region again. It is going to be what? What is it going to be? Anybody? Anybody?
States.
Yeah, it's going to be states. You need to take note of that. You can say, I've even helped you solve the problem. And your criteria range 2 is going to be other dates, and your criteria 2 is going to be this date. Remember to lock it. Remember to put a greater than and greater than in a quotation sign, and put an ampersand or an and symbol. And everything looks good. You have solved this problem. Do you guys get that? So now we want to go to grade book. Yeah.
Sorry. You said criteria 1 is sales.
Oh, you want me to tell you the answer? I'm only giving you an hint. So go and try and do it yourself. It's an assignment. This is an assignment. You can ask question on this.
When are we submitting?
Yeah, we are submitting on Wednesday. I'm going to drop my email in the chat, and that is when you will submit. Send me the Excel sheets. I'm going to go through it one by one, please. So it's actually a very simple assignment. Just implement total amount of sales and total amount of transaction after a particular date. If you want me to make it more complex, tell me, I will do it. Should I?
No, this one is fine.
Why now? Are you running away?
I'm not scared.
Please, so don't run away. So now let's go to grade book. So this is a grade book sheet. Grade book sheet, guys. In this grade book, the problem now is what? I think we have. Oh, what did I send to you? What do you have in your own grade book? You have the answer already. Guys, what do you have in your grade book? Do you have the grades already?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay. We ought to, you ought not to have the grades. So I want to delete it. Okay. You ought not to have the grades. Control Shift. We just want to delete these 2 columns. Guys, please delete those 2 columns. Are we together? That was an error. So are we good to go? Are we good to go? Yes. Have you deleted those 2 columns? Have you deleted those 2 columns? You actually need to delete it so that we can work. Have you deleted those 2 columns? To delete is very easy. You just select those 2 columns and you just right click and you click on delete. So it's going to delete the content. So are we good to go? Are we good to go? Ladies and gentlemen, are we good to go?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Now we have these grades. We have these names of students, which is A1 to 800. And we have the score of the students, and we have their grades. Now you are the teacher of those students, and you want to award grades to them, 100 students. And you already have a criteria for awarding the grades, which is anybody that score 0 to 39 or to 38, you give them an F. Then 39 to 40, there's an error somewhere. 39 is going to be E. This is meant to be 45. 45 is meant to be D. 50 is meant to be C. 60 and 70. You understand? So now we want to use this criteria now to award grades to these students. So how do you do it with Excel? How do you do it with Excel? Anybody? Any idea? I can't tell you. I should use what?
Lookup functions.
Who is telling me lookup functions?
Akande.
Akade is Excel guru. Me, I don't know what lookup functions means. So.
We can use conditional statements.
Yes, who is telling me condition? Yes, Akade, yes, that is what we should use. We should use if.
If.
Yes, it is even the easiest now. No,
yes,
be so.
Yes, actually. Yes,
sir. So we are going to use if. So Akade is saying we can use conditional statements. Conditional statement means that we are just going to write the condition that, okay, let me just do it in simple English, that if score is greater than 0, then grade should be what? Is greater than 0 and less than 39. Grade should be what? Grade should be F. Then we have if score is greater than 39 and less than what? 45.
Less than 45.
Grade is what? E. But Akade, why did you say lookup functions first? I want to understand.
It's because you can generate, how will I explain? You can generate it if it's, lookup usually use when you want to generate maybe values from probably different sheets. Instead of writing it again, it's just automate it for you.
And why did you not change your mind? Is it that it's not going to work?
No, I think conditional assessments is easier, and I think it's more simpler. Basically, the lookup might be too complex and is unnecessary.
Akade, you are speaking English. Akade, I'm getting scared. So this is basically what you want to do. Something like this.
Yes.
But score is greater than 70, then grade should be what? It's equal to A. This is good. We can write a conditional statement like this. If score is greater than this, grade is this. You can, this is the approach of what we want to do. And we can even do it more simpler. It is also going to work. If we say, okay, let me just Control C and another text box, and I just have this. I have this, and this is also going to work. If it is less than 9, grade is F. If it is less than 45, grade is E. Less than 50, grade is D. Both of them are going to work. Yes. So one just looks more explicit, but this one is directly implied already. But the only thing is you have to do it in order. So let us just quickly do it, even though what Akade says is not totally correct. So we are still going to go through using the lookup function, because in Excel, I've met a lot of people that use Excel and they think that the longer their formula, the better they are, or they are Excel guru. If you are writing a very long formula, most likely Excel is using you, like this case. Are we guys together? If you are writing a very long formula, most likely Excel is using you. There may be another shorter formula, like this case. It looks like repetition. So, but let us just quickly do it. We are going to say that equals to if, and we click on fx, and our logical test is going to be score greater than what? If this score, you can see this is column. This is our score column. If this particular score C4 is greater than, is less than what? I'm just going to select 39 over here.
Yeah.
And the value is going to be what? F. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Then you need to put it inside another if. You understand? Value if first. Then you need to keep on testing it, which is that you need to put another if. You understand? You open and close brackets. You come over here. You understand? Then you test for another one again. That if it is less than, logical test, if this score is less than, you can see I'm using less than C, but it's less than 45. And the value, if it is less than 45, what value should it give it? E.
E.
And the value if first again is going to be what? Another if statement. Can you see it is getting complex?
Yes.
The logical test again is going to be what? If value is less than, where are we? The third guy, right? If score is less than 50, what should it be? It should be a grade of what? Value if true of D. And we put another if again in value if first. Then we go inside our another if. Then we do a logical test again, which is going to be if score again is less than 70. I think we are at 70, right? J7. Yeah. Are we at 70? I think so. 60. Okay, if it is less than 60, can you see now that I'm not hard coding? There's a purpose for not hard coding. Because if your score changes, the point where you want to choose A, B, C, or D, if it changes, everything changes automatically. So if it is less than 60, what does it mean? It should be a grade of C. And what is going to happen? What's going to happen? Help me, guys.
Sir?
Then the value is going to be false if again. I mean, you can see it's already very long. And I don't like it. It is too complex. Some people think if they are able to write a complex formula like this, that is when they are using Excel. In that case, Excel is using you. You are not using Excel. So I'm going to show us a very interesting function that we can use to solve the problem, which is we want to use a lookup function, we want to use a lookup function. So our lookup function is basically going to be looking at this guy. Let me just clear. Lookup function is basically going to be looking at this table and using when it looks up here, it's going to fill the respective grades. Are we good to go?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you like, you can go and try the if at home at your spare time. I mean, you want to show yourself that you're an Excel guru. So some people do that. We can see now that with a very simple formula, we can do VLOOKUP, and it is going to, we can use our lookup function, and it is going to tell us the result. Are we good to go, guys? Are we good to go?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So we are going to have equals to VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is what you want to use. There are several applications of VLOOKUP. I'm only showing you just one of it in today's class. In subsequent classes, we are going to see how to apply VLOOKUPs to other things. You understand, guys? So now
Yes,
we are
sir.
going to have equals to VLOOKUP. We click on FX. Our lookup value is going to be what? It's going to be score. That is what we want to look up in another table. Are we together, guys? The lookup value is what we want to look up in another table, which is the score. We want to check this score and want to look at it here and know where it belongs to. You understand? So our lookup value is going to be 41, which is the cell address. The table array is where you are looking up, where you want to go and check. Are we together? Where you want to retrieve information from. So I'm going to select all this table. Can you see how I'm selecting? I've highlighted everything in my score and grade.
Yes, sir.
Can I continue? And it is always advisable you lock it. So I've locked it, function F4. Then my column index number is going to be what I want to return. What do you want to return? As
The
output,
grade.
the grade. So the grade is going to be which column? Column 2. Is it not in column 2 in my table array?
It is.
So I'm going to put 2 there. Then my range lookup can be 0 or 1. So when is it going to be 0? When is it going to be 1? So 0 is when you want to do an exact match. And 1 is going to be when you want to do an approximate match. In this case, we want to do an approximate match. It wants to check for, it's not checking for, you know that this 41 is not actually in this table. Is it there? It's not there. It just wants to look at which one is it closest to. 41 is closest to 39 now. I mean, as an approximate match. So it's just, okay, 41, then it picks this. If it is 38, it picks what? E, because it is less than. And let us check if it works. Let us check if it works. And we click on OK, and we apply our formula. And can you see now that 27 is F? Letter 7, I mean figure 7, score of 7 is F2. And then let us just do a random check, and you can see now that it is correct. Can you see now with a very simple formula? So most of the time, it's not about a very big formula. I can do it again if you want. Should I go over it again?
Please do.
Yes, sir.
Please do.
Okay. So now, guys, ladies and gentlemen, look up, because we want to do lookup. Guys, look up at your screen because we want to do what? Lookup. We want to do a lookup. So again, lookup, lookup functions. We have a lot of them. I'm only introducing us to just one. I'm only giving us a tip of an iceberg. Is that how they say it? I think so. So now in our lookup, this table that we have here is where we want to look up. We want to go and check. You know, that is where our criteria is. We want to check, okay, this 41 now, excuse me, I have some cough. Excuse me, please.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. So now, this 41 now, we want to check it. Okay, 41 is going to be what? It's going to be between, if it is greater than 39, then between 39 and 45, then that is the result. So I believe you understand what we have here, do we? That is the first question. Do we understand what we have here?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So once we understand what we have here, so it is that every time you want to do a check, you want to know the grade of a student, You come to this table and you look at which range does it belong to. So 41 is going to belong to this range now. Because ideally, this is what you ought to have saved. 0 to 39, maybe 40 to 45, 45 to, how do they say it? 45 to 50. Am I correct? This is meant to be 44.
45 to 49.
Yes. And this is 50 to 59, 60 to 69, and 70 upward. Okay, now this is what we are checking. This is just an explicit in full. So we just have equals to VLOOKUP, and we click on FX, and our lookup value is going to be what? It's going to be the score we want to check here. You understand? The lookup value is going to be the score we want to check, which is what? Which is the score over here. I'm just going to select the cell. Then my table array, I'm going to select all of this table now that contains score and grade, that criteria, and I'm going to lock it. You understand? Because I don't want it to change. It is the location is fixed already. Then the column index number now is going to be what you want to return. What are you searching for, guys? What are we searching for?
The grade.
Yes, so our grade is in which column in our table array? This is column 1 and grade is column 2. So we are going to put the index number there too. And our range lookup is going to be 1 because we are doing an approximate match. And we click on OK. Now we have grade E and we just fill down and everything works. So after I've done this now, the reason why formulas are good is, let's assume a lot of students failed. You understand? A lot of students have failed and I'm not happy. I want to change this E. E starts from 39, so I want to change it to 30. No, before doing that, ladies and gentlemen, let us do something. Let us do a count of total number of students that have F, E, D, C, D, and A. Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Yes,
that is easy. We already know how to do it. We just use the count SUMIFS and we click on FX. Our criteria range is going to be what? Everything under this grade. You understand? Everything in our grade. The grades that we generated already. And our criteria 1 is going to be what? Criteria 1 is going to be what? The actual grade that will, not the score now, the grade. We are counting the grade, which is this F over here.
Okay.
And after we have done that, we click on OK. And we apply the formula. Now, you can see now, we can do articles to know the total. You can see, I think there are 99 students. Let us check. Are there 99 students? Yes, there are. I think so.
There are 100.
There are 100. So there is an error somewhere. There are 100 students. There's an error somewhere. Who is going to fish it out for us? 4 plus 7. Who is going to fix the error out for us? Anybody? Anybody? I'm waiting for suggestion. Why is there a discrepancy here? So let us check it again. Count SUMIFS D3 to D103. Can you see the problem? Guys, you need to take notes. I was expecting you to see the answer immediately. Yes, it's moved.
Because we did not reference it.
Yes. Are you seeing with the application of reference now? It's not every time you need it, but at the end of the day, it moves. It doesn't mean you won't say an answer, but an answer does not mean it is always correct. You understand? Now it is working now. You understand? What I'm trying to show you now is when we work, you need to keep on checking if your quality of your work is correct. You cannot guarantee that you can always be correct with what you do. But I have the total number of counts. The total number of count of grades is meant to be equal to the total number of count of students. Is that not so?
Yes, sir.
So in that case, I need to check if it is the same. The moment it was not the same, then you need to suspect that, okay, there is a mistake somewhere. And that is why I'm showing us this. That simple things is what you can use to correct your mistakes at times. So now we have logged it and you can see now that it's correct. What I'm not trying to say now is that we can see now that a lot of students have F. Is that not so? So those students have come to complain to Uthman. Uthman is their teacher. Is Uthman still in class? Uthman, your exam questions are too tough. Students are failing. Now, all the students have talked to Uthman. Uthman wants to be lenient. He changed the E to 30. So that anybody that scores 30, 31, 32,